Peace, family. Let me get all my notes together. Hope all is well with everyone. We'll be going over some important information, I think. We'll be going over a little bit today. Sorry for the wait. We're trying to get this, get everything in order. Not really there yet, but I didn't want to let y'all wait too much longer. So I'm about to give you the raw, uncut version. All the information is factual. I'm just going to give you the raw, uncut version. Straight lace, straight up and down, blunt, very simple for everybody to be able to understand it. And yeah, peace and positivity, family. Let's get into it. All right, well, we'll be going over the Act of 1871, the Business of America. That was what I titled it out of my Bible. So let me give you these notes and let's get into it. On February 21st, 1871, with no constitutional authority, Congress created, keyword created, a separate form of government for the District of Columbia. The District of Columbia. Congress, with no constitutional authority, created a separate form of government called the District of Columbia, which is a 10-mile parcel of land. The Act of 1871 formed a corporation, keyword corporation. Please have your pen and pad ready with a dictionary on your phone or a physical copy. You'll need a law dictionary. The Act of 1871 formed a corporation. We'll be going over these words later on. A corporation called the United States of America. Owned by foreign interest, it moved in and shoved the original Constitution in the trash, pretty much. And here we go. Here's the information we'll be expounding on today. The Act of 1871 formed a corporation called the United States. The Constitution of the United States of America is the Constitution of the Incorporated United States of America. It operates in an economic capacity and has been used to fool the people into thinking it governs the republic. With the Act of 1871, the organic or the original Constitution was defaced, vandalized, and sabotaged, while the title was capitalized, and "for" was changed to "of" the United States. It no longer says the United States for America, lowercase. It now says the United States of America, all capital letters. That is very important, so write that down as a side note. All capital letters hold significance in law or in legal courts. The Constitution of the United States of America is the Constitution of the Incorporated Corporation, United States of America. When you change the words, the context becomes totally different. We're speaking legally. We're not speaking common language now. So these common words that you like, I know what that means, hold a very different context in the courtroom. So we'll be going over all of this as much as possible. What Congress did by passing the Act of 1871 was it created an entirely new document, a constitution for the government of the District of Columbia, not America, an incorporated government. The United States is not a country. It is a corporation, keyword corporation. So please write these words down. Corporation, created. Understand these words because we're going to get into them. The United States is not a country. Once again, it's a corporation. A corporation. A corporation. We have to drive that home. This might make some people uncomfortable or it might make people wake up. We don't know yet. A separate government formed on February 21st, 1871. Congress passed an act titled An Act to Provide a Government for the District of Columbia. These are facts. This is in the books right now and it's still being played out. With this act and with no constitutional authority to do so, Congress created a separate form of government for the District of Columbia, a 10-mile parcel of land, exactly. The Civil War was nothing but a front. It was a strategic maneuver by British and European international bankers, intent on gaining a stranglehold on the coffers of America, and because Congress knew our country was in dire financial straits, certain members of Congress cut a deal with these international bankers, such as the Rothschilds. The original Constitution reads, the Constitution for the United States of America. United States is not capitalized. But if you look at our Constitution now, it's all capital letters. What does the significance of capital letters have right now? We will see. All I can tell you as a reality check is look at your state ID or your driver's license and social security card, and you'll see that your name is all capital letters. This will play a significant part in what we're speaking on. Excuse me while I flip my page to my Bible of notes. The Constitution of the United States of America is a corporate constitution, a corporation constitution, which is not the same document you may think it is. When this document was created, it ended all our rights as sovereign people, or sui juris. A sovereign person, or sovereign, is independent of and unlimited by others. In short, our government, which was and is created by and for us as sovereigns, was stolen from us along with our rights. This is illegitimate law. This is a constitution that deals nothing with us. But yet it has its power over us. How? We're going to figure this out. It's a corporation. The corporation has no jurisdiction beyond the District of Columbia. Now here we have plenty different corporations. I just Googled these pictures just to give you a representation of what I'm speaking on and the impact it has. What you see here are plenty different companies or corporations. You have Hershey's, Wendy's, you got Dr. Pepper, big as hell, you got Sonic, Coca-Cola, etc., etc. These are corporations, these are companies. Now look at America right here, or the landmass we think or call America. It's containing or withholding all these smaller corporations, as it is the bigger corporation, the biggest corporation, or the mother-father corporation. We live on business soil. You understand what I'm trying to say? We see land and think we live on land, and in the physical reality, we live on land. But what is this land mass connected to? It's a corporation. So what do most corporations do? They branch out into smaller corporations, take up more areas. So Dr. Pepper could be in Ohio. It could be in Oklahoma. You know what I'm saying? But it's all a part of the bigger business of Dr. Pepper, the home corporation, or the main headquarters for the corporation. That's America. America is the corporation, the main corporation. We, as the people, are the smaller corporations that the bigger corporation makes money off of. And it was done at birth, when we were born, and we signed birth certificates, and we took on names, and we're going to get into all this. With the surrender of the people's gold in 1933, the common herd was handed over to illegitimate law. Our corporate form of governance is based on Roman civil law. Remember that, write that down. Roman civil law. And maritime law. M-A-R-I, time, T-I-M-E, law. Maritime law, which is known as the law of the seas. Why is this important? Because when we are born through our mother's womb, she gives birth to us. Here's a beautiful depiction of the concept. Beautiful. The feminine principle is beautiful in any aspect. But when we are cargo, or we are inside of our mother's stomach, our vessel is our mother. Our carrier is our mother. She carries us. She's our ship. We are her cargo. Understand? She holds us within her waters. Now understand, this is going to tie into maritime law and how we became small corporations of the big corporation called the United States of America. When she gives birth or unloads her cargo, which is us, she has to fill out a birth certificate. Please take notes on the word birth certificate, cargo. Cargo corporation as well. Artificial persons, straw man dummy. Well, we're going to deal with maritime law right now. As I just broke down, we are cargo on the vessel or mother. When she gives birth, we come and are unloaded through her waters. You understand? And when we are born, our parents fill out a birth certificate. These are key words, people, and we're going to break them down even more. Please take these notes, write them down for yourselves. That way you can get the understanding, study it, get a full comprehension, and then apply it. Because knowledge not applied is still ignorance. So, our new Constitution that was created out of nowhere by Congress for beneficial gains. Our corporation that we live in, the Congress made a new Constitution, and through this Constitution, we are dealing with maritime law or water laws at this moment of this bill that I'm speaking with you on. We are speaking on maritime law, maritime law, excuse me, family. The law of the waters, but people live on land. Well, this would make sense that an illegitimate law will overstep its boundaries, even though their boundaries only are for District of Columbia. Here we will break down some of the definitions of a name. A name is known also as a straw man or dummy corporation. You see how these words tie in and the spells are tight? Well, what is a dummy? One who holds legal title for another, or a straw man. Understand that. One who holds a legal title for another. A straw man. What is a straw man? A front. It's a facade. A third party, the straw man. It's a state issue, and then it's your corporate name, or straw man, or name. Look up nom de jour. It's a legal reference. A third party who is put up in name only to take part in a transaction. We do all business with the name given to us at birth. We do all transactions with a straw man, which is in all capitals, which signifies that it's a corporation. Legally speaking, when it's all capitalized, we are speaking on a corporation. When you go to court, it says the state of Texas versus John Doe. The state of Texas is the title. The state of Texas will not walk into the courtroom to defend itself because it is a fictitious entity. But we come on into the courtroom because we see what we perceive to be us on this piece of paper in all caps. When we look at Walmart, it's all capitals. Dr. Pepper, Pepsi, Fubu, Nike, Polo, it doesn't matter. What Sonics, GameStop, City Trends, Foot Locker, it doesn't matter what the corporation is, it's all capitals. It's never first letter capitalized, lowercase the rest. It's never that way. Because it's a corporation. It has to make money. It's a business. So when your name is all capitals, I'm looking at my state ID right now. It's all capitals. I didn't have to look, but I just want to be a part of this experience with you. We have to understand what we're going through. When we signed that birth certificate is when we were signed over to the state. Now let's look at a birth certificate. Very simple, basic, pulled it off of Google. Nothing important, but it's very important as far as the significance of the spells and contracts and word spell contracts that we deal with and sign over our lives pretty much. Well, here's a birth certificate. Now, when we get into maritime legal definitions, birth is spelled with an E instead of an I. This is to certify that John Doe, who weighed in at 25 pounds, 3 ounces on the day of January 16th, to Jane Doe's mom and Jane Doe dad in the year of 20 million, right? Now, when we're dealing with maritime law and maritime terms and maritime concepts, which is the law of the seas, we have to understand what we're looking at. This document right here, this certificate right here, is the turning point from free persons to corporate persons or artificial persons. Because once you write Jane Doe Jr. at the very first line to certify that Jane Doe Jr. in all caps, you've signed your name. You've signed yourself as a corporation. Your parents did this to you. And they give you the weight of the cargo, the time the cargo arrived, who it arrived to, what time, everything. This is the document that clarifies that the ship, your mother, who's carrying the cargo, you, birthed and delivered you. You understand? This is just the certificate of arrival. You hear what I'm saying? But we see this as just a birth certificate. Nothing dangerous. Nothing going to harm. Nothing. It's just, we don't even think about it. You just sign it. Oh, here's his birth. Here's his feet prints. Here's his hand prints. Oh my gosh. You see what I'm saying? Not understanding that the corporation hospital, the corporate hospital that we're at, is filling out the paperwork to sign us over. They're the corporation as well. Now here's a ship. Metaphorically speaking, here's your mother carrying the cargo, which is you. And look at that. The cargo has a title as well. And look at that. All the letters are capitalized. This is Costco cargo on this ship. All right? Now, what you're looking at, this is, in the literal sense, this is a factual thing I'm telling you right now. This ship represents your mother. You are the cargo. She is carrying you within her womb. Her waters, look at these waters. The ship sits in waters. And guess what it's doing sitting right there? It's this is called at birth. It's at its birth. B-E-R-T-H. This is maritime in the literal sense. Then when they carry maritime law over to the land laws, this is where you get your birth certificate. Your mother carrying you within her wombs, her waters breaking, and you coming from her birth. She unloads you at birth. And when this ship captain meets up with the person waiting for the cargo, they're going to fill out a cargo book. That is basically a birth certificate, just in another form for another corporation. A different business format. That's it. That's it. Nothing different. So why isn't Costco capital C, lowercase, every other letter? Because it is a corporation. It belongs to a corporation. It is going to a corporation. It is not a real, live, living and breathing person. You are not Jane Doe. Therefore, Jane Doe will stay capitalized, being it is a corporate form or a corporate business. This is very important because when Congress changed our Constitution, that Constitution took on an entirely different context, which includes different powers, different spells. We don't know any better because nobody has told us any better, and the government's not going to tell us this, because then it loses its hold when we figure out how not to sign our children over as property. You become property of the state. Now, in a second, we're going to look at a cargo book. Now, this I pulled off of Google as well. My pictures, for the most part, will come off Google, unless I can just pull up the actual documents needed. You understand? But this is nothing different, just a different format. That's all. It's the same thing as that birth certificate we look at and we sign our children over to the state. It's the same thing, just a different format. Here's the cargo. Who is the cargo? The child within the mother or the vessel or the ship. The name of the ship is Jane Doe Mom, right? The gross tonnage, 25 pounds, 6 ounces. The date, whatever date, boom, boom. It's the same paperwork. This is dealing with the ships. Your mother is your ship. You are her cargo. She gives birth to you at birth, and you come out of her waters. Maritime law deals with the feminine principles. And it's very important to understand the context of the images I'm showing you. The same way Congress switched over the Constitution and it took on a whole new form of power because the name changed, the title changed, these small little differences, legally speaking, changed everything about it, the whole context and power of it. The same way, when we're given birth, we're given over as property of the state because of certain things our parents didn't know. You understand? And so I hope this reaches younger people, expecting children. I hope this reaches somebody who has good relationships with their family, so that way you can spread the information, because knowledge not acted upon is still ignorance. You understand? So let's not be ignorant, family. I know the people who listen to me ain't ignorant, and we're gonna keep it that way. And I appreciate all y'all for not. I really do. But this is important to understand where the signing over of my free will rights. When did that happen? It happened at birth. B-E-R and B-I-R-T-H. It's very important. The corporate empire, so let's look. What is cargo? Well, cargo is the lading or merchandise with which a vessel is freighted. The goods with which she is laden. Cargo book, birth certificate. A book kept by the master of every coasting vessel stating the name of the ship, Mama Doe, of the master, the state, of the port to which she belongs, another she, and of the port to which she is bound. So what is birth? Birth, the place which a vessel occupies alongside of a quay or elsewhere, where she gives birth. To birth a vessel means to fix upon and put her into the place she is to occupy. Okay. So we have our cargo, us. We have our cargo book, our birth certificate, and birth. All of them pertain to a she, because it's only through the woman. It is only through the woman that anything can be birthed. Period. Born, unloaded. Certificates of service granted to the masters or mates in the merchant service. A seagoing certificate of being competent to act, of having served for a certain period in one or other of these capacities on board a seagoing merchant vessel. Our mothers are the seagoing merchant vessels. They have the merchandise. They are carrying the merchandise. So look at how common language is nothing like legalese or the language of law. It carries a whole nother context. We can't go into court with common context and common words, thinking that these words carry the same significance in the courtroom. They don't. When you go into a courtroom, what do you see? You see the unbalanced scales in the back, right? I've been to court a couple times. You see the unbalanced scale in the back. Where did they get the scale? They got the scale from Ma'at. That's Egyptian, that's African, that's black. And in Ma'at, it is balanced. But when you go to court, it's unbalanced. There's no justice, there's no balance, there's no truth. You are guilty until proven innocent nowadays. What else do you see, though? What else is important? You see a flag, right? You're going to see the flag. And when you look at that flag, next time you go into court, hopefully you don't have to go because of nothing crazy, no shit like that. But next time you go to court, look at the flag. If you see yellow tassels at the end of the flag, you are dealing with maritime law. If the reason you're in court takes place on land, you are in the wrong courtroom. And it's up to you to know that. It's up to you to state that. Because they will let the law of the seas be the factor in the law of the land, the courtroom of law of land. We have to know the difference. We have to study law. Simple, basic. I have a whole video on definitions of law. Just go watch it and take notes. You understand? The Act of 1871 was very important to the molding of America, quote unquote. Our organic Constitution was thrown away by greedy congressmen. They created a whole new one that has no weight other than the District of Columbia, a 10-mile parcel of land. That's what we perceive to be the United States of America, which is the District of Columbia. Everybody's heard the District of Columbia. I've heard that a million times before. I never knew that that was, in fact, quote-unquote, America. And this other landmass everybody else lives on is the corporation, or the representation of the business of America. How did we become little corporations? Through our birth certificates, through signing over of the state. That's why the state can come in and take the children anytime they want. Because we're not the parents. The state is the parents. Now let's look at what a corporation is. A corporation is an artificial person. The first three words, it tells you exactly what a corporation is. These are all legal law definitions. You can go find these in law books. An artificial person. Artificial person? We know artificial is a fake. Or legal entity created. Here goes that word created again. Didn't Congress create a new constitution? Okay, anyway. By or under the authority of the laws of a state or nation. Composed, in some rare instances, of a single person. Hold on, a person? A corporation is a person? So what's an artificial person? Artificial person. Persons created, there it goes again, and devised by human laws for the purposes of society and government, as distinguished from natural persons. Corporations are examples of artificial persons. So Jane Doe in all capital letters is a corporation. A corporation translates into an artificial person or a front, because remember now, our artificial corporation or artificial persons are all based on our dummy names, our straw mans, our given names being capitalized. That's when we become corporations. Once we're signed over, we are corporations, artificial people. We're not real people. I'm giving you, it's in your face. Don't argue with me. Don't get mad at me. But once we get signed over, not knowingly by our parents, through a birth certificate, we officially become property of the bigger corporation called the United States of America. We become the property. This is why you are not the parent. The state is the parent. The government is the parent. You may feed and change that shitty diaper. You may go to all school shows and all that. Every football game, every basketball. It does not matter. That's great. You're a great human being. You're a great parent. But you are still not the official parent, the legal parent of that cargo. You're not. You can say like hell I am, but you're not. So now let's look at what the parent is. Wow. Pair, P-A-I-R, pair, rent, R-E-N-T. The parents rent the property called the child. So what is a parent parte? Patri, excuse me. Literally, parent of the country. Tells you, it's in the books. They tell you off rip. Refers traditionally to roles of the state as sovereign and guardian of person under legal disability, such as juveniles or the insane, and in child custody determinations when acting on behalf of the state to protect the interest of the child. The state acts as guardian of the child. It is the principle that the state must care for those who cannot take care of themselves, such as minors. Keyword, write that word down. Minors. We're going to touch on that real fast. Who lack proper care and custody from their parents. It is the state, the parent of the country. That's who the real parent or guardians. It's right here. Read it. Who are the real parents or guardians of that property that was, or that cargo that was birthed by the vessel you call your mother. The spell is deep, people. The spell is very deep. And if I don't get time, I want to say it now. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope you made it this far, and if you did, I appreciate you 100% because you appreciate yourself enough to listen to something that could benefit you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Hit that like and sub. Turn on the notifications. You know, leave a comment or two. It doesn't matter what you say. But I wanted to get that out right now. I do appreciate everyone. Those who listen immediately and those who will listen months from now. Thank you. Thank you. I am very grateful for you. I really am. Because my goal is just to get the information out. But enough of that. Let's look real quick at what a birth certificate is. A settlement certificate, also known as a birth certificate. Since 1837, is an official document issued to validly recorded poor papers, granting them certain basic rights and entitlement to benefits in exchange for recognition of their status as being owned as property and lawful slaves, also known as indentured servants and bondsmen. A settlement, therefore, is equivalent to a voluntary slave plantation. Signed you over as property. That's property. So what is a minor or a minority? A minority is a person that is in the state or condition of an infant-minded. For years, I was told black folks are minorities. It wasn't until I studied myself that I understood what the minority was and that black people are not minorities, never have been, ever. But that's besides the point. But when we use the word minority, it's usually given to black folks. We have never been the minority and never will be. But this is important to understand when people say, when the law just said minor, the state will take care of you if you're a minor. You have to understand what a minority is. A minority is the state or condition of a person, an infant-minded person who can't stand for themselves, can't function for themselves as property in the corporation of the United States of America. Deep, ain't it? I know. This is the importance of Act of 1871, and this is the importance of understanding how that happened and how it happens to us daily. You switch up some words, you capitalize some words, you change the context in the eyes of the courts. I love all of y'all. I hope you appreciated this. Thank you for taking your time. Thank you. Thank you. That's all I can say. You know better, you do better. Ain't that right? You know better, you do better. So with that being said, please watch this again. Go back and watch my video about legal definitions. Have a great day. Peace when we're together. Positive